I'll bet you $1,000,000 that if you cast an unknown female lead in your next movie, Phoenix, you don't even break even.
You're on.
Okay.
Nunca permitan que la gente ignorante les impida progresar.
I wish I was pretty, like you.
Not to be mean, but she looks like the cleaning lady, not the catering staff.
Oh my God, can you
I am
please
so
be
sorry,
careful?
sir.
That's your next female lead. I want her.
You can't give my lead away to a waitress.
Hey, what's going on here? You're making me miss Judge Judy. Who are you? What do you
¡Esa
want?
pinche Karen que se cree la reina de Timbuktu o qué!
I'm a movie producer.
Oh,
A big film director saw Xochitl at the party last week, and they want to give her a job.
it's good then. What?
As a movie star.
Yes.
That is ridiculous.
I don't think she's gonna do it.
I'm sorry, but did everybody just forget that she's a fruit girl? She's not gonna say no to me. She's not gonna say no to a huge financial opportunity.
You might think that as a street vendor, I'll do anything for money, but that's not true. I have integrity, sir.
How many European actors have we helped get their visas and their green cards?
She's Mexican. Immigration for Mexicans is much more complicated.
That little girl needs to crawl back into her cucaracha hole where she came from.
So children,
No! You agree?
you're being placed under arrest for violation of U.S. immigration laws.
Someone reported her.
They took Sochi.
Who took Sochi?
ICE.
Mr. Goldblum, I promise I will work hard. If I can't be the actress you need, I will give all the money back.
Sochi, I fully understand how responsible you are.
¿Y ahora qué te pasa? ¿Que ya ni siquiera saludas? ¿Que ya te crees que eres la estrella de cine o con qué?
Doña Flaca, why are you always like this?
Because you act like you're better than us.
Ladies and gentlemen, an actress destined for stardom. Please welcome to the stage the one, the only, Xochitl Benavidez.
Look, such one thing. If you're gonna be in the movies, please do not play a maid. Mexicans are always cleaning up. Enough with that. Huh?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 3, Off the Record with Phase 3, Season 2, Episode 1. Today we have today's guest, special guest, Dr. Ruiz. I'm Oscar, and this is...
I am Vince.
And this is...
Dr. Jose Luis Ruiz. What a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you being our first guest for our Season 2 premiere.
I feel special.
Yeah. Now, today's episode, we are talking about the Dreamer Cinderella. And we have Dr. Ruiz, who is the director and writer. And you're also the producer as well, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, executive producer, not the line producer, executive producer.
Right. Correction, executive producer. We're here to talk about Dreamer Cinderella, so let's get to it. So let's talk about your inspiration for the Dreamer Cinderella. What was your inspiration for this film?
Well, you know, life. Every day I drive on a street where there's lots of flower vendors, and you know, often we drive by and we just don't even pay attention to them, and then it just happened that one day I was looking at each one of them. I was driving, like, kind of feeling a lot of love for my people, and thinking, man, these people work so hard. They always work so hard, always here, always under the sun for hours and hours, and always nice. And, you know, then I start looking a little bit closer, and I'm like, I bet each one of these people have amazing stories to tell. And, you know, so I saw, you know, I start thinking, you know, with an opportunity, any of them could be anything, you know. So and with things were different, I would be a flower vendor as well, you know. So that made me think about start writing a screenplay, and I started writing it, And when I shared with different people, they were like, "Wow, I love it. It's very, it looks really, really, really a very, very powerful story." So then then I spent more time, polishing it, and I shared with some of my really good friends who are, very brilliant filmmakers like Moctezuma Esparza, and he gave me some pointers, and Jesus Trevino, and he gave me some more pointers, and little by little, I got the screenplay got to the point where we're ready to make it into a film.
Right. Yeah, because what I love about, when I first watched the film this weekend was that it touches a lot of, like, from what you really see in, the streets in California, For me, living in California all my life, like, I always see, like, food vendors, flower vendors, and, the Latin community is, like, very, they're the most hardest workers, like, I've seen, like, especially, when, knowing my own parents, my parents are very hard workers, and, they work hard, and I just love that the film, it shows us, that side of, in this state of California. And, I'm not sure what it's like from other states as well, because, I lived in California all my life. And I, I have been to El Salvador, but, that I was a kid. But, I just love to see those details and, that's just been brought into this film, and you normally don't really see that a lot in other movies. When it touches up what it's like, just driving down on a Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, seeing what it's like around the streets. What type of vendors are out there. What is the Latin community up to?
I agree with you, and that's in fact that's my driving force, behind everything I do for the film community. I just like all of us, I'm upset that Hollywood doesn't ignores our community. For 100 years we didn't even exist in film.
Right.
Millions of us lived in Los Angeles, and every single movie, we didn't exist.
Right.
Everything was, white people and occasionally a black person, right? And we were, we were doing all the work, and we were around, but we never showed up, or when our face never showed up on film or on TV. And so yeah, that was upsetting to me. And then, now, there are some movie stars, they are starting to be Hispanic, but the stories that they play are rarely our stories. They're they're part of a story that doesn't tell our community's story, and when it does, it usually tells it in the wrong way,
Right.
in an offensive way. So that's why I'm in this business, because I want to see stories that are the perspective is our perspective, and a more real perspective of who we really are, which we've been portrayed very, very wrong by Hollywood.
Right. I think honestly, like, when it comes to seeing our perspective and bringing that to life and showing those details in these films, and I think it's very important to get the perspective of people who've seen all these, like, details that goes on in the streets of in LA and or in the Inland Empire where Phase 3 is, like, located. We've seen, like, how how the Latin community, I've seen, like, food vendors, and and every time I see those food vendors, I was like, I just want to go and buy myself some fruit. It's like, because a fruit bowl, yeah.
Una mangonada.
Yeah. Oh, I might as well just go get one right now. So the character Sochi, like, what's inspiration with the character Sochi and, like, the sister and the neighbors, the landlords?
Well, I feel like we need to tell the stories from our perspective, and if we we are family people, and Sochi's family has been hurt by immigration, nevertheless, she's still very caring about her sister, as we all tend to be from with our brothers and sisters, and of course, most in most neighborhoods, there's always the meddling, neighbor, and so I wanted to create that funny perspective that we have, that we've all been, kind of familiar with if we lived in a building or if we live in any type of a place where there's lots of families. There's always that meddling neighbor, and sometimes their perspective is not always the nicest. So and also we need to remember that this is a universal story. My mission was to tell a story that was not just like we're all good and they're all bad. I also wanted to like really give us a little feeling of different cultures and mix together, and how we all kind of interact, and sometimes it's not good. So
Yeah, it's like looking at this film. It's like it's very things that I can relate in real life. Like from you always have like sometimes you have your friend neighbors who are the very the chismosos who come in, but it's not like a very bad chismoso. It's like, hey, what's going on? Like it's like talk to me. Like let's get a pan con café. Let's chill. Let's talk.
Yeah. They're gonna go tell the story to everybody else.
Oh yeah, then the whole neighborhood knows. And like my favorite part from from what the film touches into, like when and it was also the when it reaches it's one of the 3 act structures where the character reaches their lowest point is when Xochitl goes she ends up getting deported to Tijuana. And what I really loved seeing was and also guys, heads up, spoiler alert if you have not seen the film. In the film, like she goes into this restaurant, and what I really loved was like how supportive like the Latin community is like with each other, with Latinos and Latinas. They're all very, you have the restaurant lady saying like, what's wrong? It's like, I'm deported, I'm so lost. And it's like, and the way that she helped her, without hesitation, that's just what I loved seeing. You always have, I've always seen like Latinos like always, help each other in that way. And that's what I really loved that the film got to touch into in that moment.
I agree 100%. We're hospitable people. We're caring for others, and that's something that I wanted to show on this film for sure.
I got a question for you, Dr. Ruiz. So, because we did. Obviously, like there's so many scenes in this film. How difficult was it to get all these locations and get everyone on set for these locations? Because you went, I'm assuming you went down south, and because that's a whole other thing than it is over here. Like tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we use the magic of TV, the magic of movie making. Because we never went to Tijuana. We everything was filmed in Los Angeles, and we just made it appear. Found the best possible spots that would make us feel like we're there. And but yeah, I mean, we did, as you said, very very well said. We had a lot of locations, and finding locations. And our budget was very small, so we had to find locations that were ready to go. We did not have the budget to alter locations. We were already paying for the for the location, to shoot at the location. So it really was a lot of work, and I have to give a shout out to my producer, to a line producer. Alfredo Widman, who is a very experienced filmmaker, and he and his friends, they found the locations, and we were able to make things feel very very authentic. But I did find a couple of locations myself.
Yeah.
I have to say, I did find a couple of the locations myself. I did some research and stuff. So
Awesome.
yeah, it just worked. It just worked. Work and try to find the less expensive possible option.
Yeah, I will say like I was very convinced you guys went to Mexico and shot in Tijuana. Like I thought you guys were actually in Mexico. You guys did such a good job with the location because there are some locations out in LA.
We did our job.
Yeah, because in LA, there are some locations that just feels like you're in Mexico. You're in your country.
You bet. You bet.
And because for me, like my parents were, they're from El Salvador. And whenever we go to church on a Sunday, like when I was younger, we would go to like hopefully I can say this, a pupuseria and like nearby, and it would feel like we're in El Salvador sometimes.
Yeah, I love pupusas, by the way.
Yeah. So what are the challenges that have you gone through, going through the production of these films? Have you gone through any challenges other than locations?
Well, I think that if you're a filmmaker, you have to be ready to hear lots of no's.
Right.
And really overcome adversity almost at every step of the way. We had lots and lots of, from the very beginning when we reached out to people that we were wanting them to help us, we heard lots of no's. And during the production, we run into the fires. We actually on the second day of the shooting, the LA fires, the huge LA fires, started. So we actually had to not to stop one day. We started in the morning and it just felt uncomfortable and smoky, and I just wanted to protect our crew and cast. So we quit the day, and we actually had to relocate to Long Beach, trying to look for clean air, and so we had to find a new location, and it was crazy. It was crazy. So yeah, and almost anything in life, almost anything worth in life, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of resilience, and try to find solutions to everyday problems that happen.
Yeah, I exactly remember when the LA fires were happening, because like it was such like a big like disaster that was going on. Like it was even
surreal to see that. It felt like we were in Mars. The day was orange. The whole day was orange. Days and days were orange. Yeah.
Yeah, we remember too. I think we were also filming during when the LA fires happened, and it was like we saw like it was just the clouds were coming by, and everybody was, and we were also like questioning, it was like the air is the air safe, because we were again, it's like keeping the crew safe, making sure is today a safe day to film, and we I think it was like around 2024 when that happened. But yeah, no, the whole LA fires, I remember that. It was like it was like a big thing going on in the news.
Well, it's around that time, because as Oscar had mentioned, we were actually filming Dreamer up in the high desert, and what's going to lead me into the segue. We went through the Masif, and I kind of want to touch base on that. Kind of tell our audience what your involvement is with Masif, and how Dreamer, how you're attached to Dreamer at this point as well.
Well, maybe about 10 years ago, I decided that I've always been very active, and I've always tried to do things to help our Latino community. I'm a dentist originally, so 20 years ago, I started a nonprofit called Latinos for Dental Careers, and we were trying to recruit Latinos to go to dental careers, because when I started teaching at USC, at the USC Dental School,
right,
there were literally 0 dental students that year that were Latino, and I was outraged, and I spoke to the dean, and I was like, this is unacceptable that we have 0 Latinos when this city is half Latino. And he told me, you guys don't apply. So I mean, we have tons of Indians and tons of Middle Easterners and Asians. Look at the halls. You guys don't apply. So I started a nonprofit, and we did well. We raised lots of money, and we got we encouraged lots and lots of people to get into dental school. But ultimately, about 10 years ago, I felt that if I wanted to make or trying to contribute to make a massive difference, media is the way to do it. If you want to change the perspective of people, if you want to give them a different perspective, media is the only way to do it, because in dentistry you can help one person at a time. With media you can help millions of people. You can so I got into media for that reason, and I started a nonprofit called MASEF, as you know, and I got some of my good friends involved: Moctezuma Esparza, Jesus Trevino, Bel Hernandez, Naive Reynoso, and several very successful Latinos that are already in media. And I told them, look, this is my vision. Could you support it? And they came along with me, and we formed MASEF. And our mission was to provide support to our community of media community. And over the years, we come out with new projects. We started with the scholarships and grants, and then we started with the film festival and the networking events, and now we have the master classes. And we're our mission is to give some support to a film community, because we have so many so incredibly talented people. I mean, sometimes I'm blown away when I see some of the shorts that some of our filmmakers make, and I'm thinking, my gosh, I mean, these people are so talented, but it's so hard to get into it, to make a feature, and Hollywood is completely uninterested. At this point, I've come to realize that they don't want us. They don't want to give us a chance to make our stories. They don't want to. Even if they thought that they could make money, a little bit of money, they don't want to. So it's up to us. I mean, at this point, I don't think we have to, Latinos, we have to work together and create our own ecosystem. Everything. And then the thing, and I'm sorry if I speak so much, but the last thing I'm going to say is just we have the opportunity. I mean, 30% of all film buyers, all people that go to the movies are Latinos. Even higher when it comes to streaming. So we can change this. We just need to come out with stories, movies, TV that really engage our community. So little by little, they start wanting to see our films and our stories.
Right. Yeah. Like I agree with what you're saying, because as independent filmmakers, a lot of us are, outside of the Hollywood film industry, where we love to tell our stories, where we want to tell a story that's within our hearts, within like what we're passionate about, and just seeing the outcome of what we create, without too many restrictions, other than like being told for like, I can't film here because just location didn't work out, or I can't, other aspects. Like, it's just having the good feeling of I made this, and the whole community together made this together. Just you have the grips, the gaffers, the script supervisors, the producers, the director, all these people being brought together. And I've seen it before for phase 3, when bringing the community together, seeing other filmmakers as well, seeing everybody complete a film of their own, it's really, it's a really great feeling to see the results at the end of it. Which comes to my next question is like, what were your thoughts after the Dreamer Cinderella was finished? Like, and what are your thoughts looking back at that? And what was the scenes you were most proud of?
Well, I was very, it's funny that the first time I saw the whole movie, of course, I start crying in some scenes that I still, every time I see them, I still feel, it still hurts me to see it, although I wrote the story, it still affects me. You know, you're right. I mean, the pleasure of knowing the a group of talented and committed people were able to come together and make this story reality is very satisfying. It's a team sport. Filmmaking is almost the ultimate team sport. Every single person has to do their job correctly, or the story or the film just doesn't come out as good. So I was pleased with the result. I feel very good. And of course, the next thing that I wanted to see is I wanted to see how people respond to it, right? And that was a scary thing to do, to play the movie and then hear what people say on their way out.
Right. It's honestly like it's kind of like a normal thing for every filmmaker. It's like, from what I learned when I was in college, it's like we are our own worst critics when we're either writing or watching our own films. It's always like, oh my gosh, are people gonna like it? Or is it good? Is it great? And it's like, no, it's like film. We're all our own self-doubters. And then the moment you're gonna hear other people's opinions, and I'm like, wow, I was so wrong what I was saying about myself. And it's always like, always hear the opinions and the critiques from the audience themselves. And once you see the audience reactions, and especially when you see the reactions of your own crew and your own cast, to see what was accomplished at the end of the results, it's satisfying to see what everybody's like, wow, we did that, we made this, I love it.
Absolutely. I'm working on, I'm so excited about this that I'm already working on the next film. My next film is going to be a vertical, but I want to let you tell me what's your next question, other than me, starting to talk about something else.
It's more, again, because we want to know more about you. What is Dr. Ruiz Productions? What does that entail?
Well, Dr. Ruiz Productions is a business. So, myself, my nonprofit is an organization that is focused on helping the filmmaker community and to try to, promote, find ways to create networks and to help each other. And, so it is a nonprofit. Dr. Ruiz Productions, it's a film production company that is for profit, and our mission is to make films and make money. And it is the hardest thing imaginable to do that. And everybody that is in film knows that, and the problem is that we want to tell our stories. We want to make beautiful movies. They're going to make people feel great. But at the same time, you cannot do that forever and not make money, because otherwise you're going to go broke. You're going to lose your house. You're going to have not a very satisfying life. So my mission with Dr. Ruiz Productions, in a way, is to develop a system to make movies that make enough money to allow us to make the next movie, that develop marketing strategies that are reasonable for our community. And my mission is then share that with everybody else in our community. I want to open a door for the filmmakers that don't have all the connections in Hollywood, which is basically all of us, because very few of us have our name Spielberg or any of those names, because Hollywood is a very I forgot the word, but basically they all help each other. There's a lot of family relationships there. Almost every single big star and every single big filmmaker is related to somebody that opened the door, and then somebody before that. The Scorseses and the Coppolas and the it goes back. My apologies. I was sick last week, and I still hold a little bit of that throat. But what I'm saying is that our community doesn't have that. We don't have the influence in Hollywood. We have the talent. Sometimes we get the idea that, well, Spielberg is just so talented, and but his aunt was a very, very powerful person in Hollywood. So he had already that push. He had an opportunity to do lots of bad little movies until eventually he was able to do good movies, Right. We don't have that. We don't have that opportunity. Nobody gives us money to make movies, or we don't have those connections. So my mission. Sorry if I talk too much, if I tell very long stories, but my mission is to figure out ways for independent filmmakers to create a business in film that can make money. That is really my mission.
I was just gonna say, like, it's on us to make this and get the community involved. It's on every single one of us.
Right.
It's on us. Yeah, we have to figure it out, because trust me, for as fortunate that I am, that I have a lot of friends that are very influential in the business, in the movie community, but they don't seem to really have answers. Many of them became very successful, and they got into the studios gave them threw them an opportunity, and they make movies through the studio system. And but if you're not in the studio system, everything is completely different. So and getting in the studio system is almost impossible. So we need to find a good system to make movies, make it profitable, make beautiful movies that's going to change the narrative, and we can do it together. And we can, and we will. I'm very, very confident that we're going to go there.
Speaking of beautiful movies, tell us a little bit more about the illustrious collection that you have curated.
Well, the Illustrious Collection is a streaming service that we created with the purpose of giving an opportunity for small filmmakers that have made beautiful stories and beautiful films to have them on a curated platform that it has a very simple system that you put your film there. And if people come in and want to support and buy your film, it's a very simple formula. You're gonna get some financial rewards because of that, and we all deserve that. If we make a movie, we want people to go see it and pay a little bit of money, and we get most of that money. That's the way it should be. But distribution is very complicated these days, and short films, regular, independent films, have a hard time getting distribution, have a hard time getting into platforms and actually getting any money out of the platforms, because they have some very complicated formulas that at the end, I've talked to so many people about this. At the end, they never get 1 cent. So this is a very simple platform, curated to have only amazing films. There have already won a lot of awards, some of them awards at our Mexican American Film and Television Festival. Right. So we know that these are great films, and then there are and that people are going to come and see them and enjoy support our filmmakers, and I think it's a very simple system that I think there was a need for it, and that's why we did it.
So for the Dreamer Cinderella, where can audience see this film?
Right now, the Dreamer Cinderella is on Amazon Prime. So anybody can go to Amazon Prime and buy or rent the film. Pretty soon, it will be on more platforms. So we hope that our audience will want to go to the platforms and rent the movie, see it with their families, enjoy a movie that tells a story, from our perspective, with us in the center of the story. Although it's a universally enjoyable film, because the story involves all the communities, and I know that anybody that has seen it, they find it very, very rewarding. I'm very proud to say we had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. How about that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey.
How about that?
That's awesome. All right.
That's something. That is something. We have actually, very, very high ratings for our small film. I'm proud of that.
It's very, very exciting, especially very exciting that it will go through more platforms other than Amazon Prime, which for those who are interested in watching the film, we will put the link down below as soon as this podcast is out on YouTube, where you guys can watch The Dreamer Cinderella.
Thank you.
So, what's next? I know we talked a little bit about your next project, the Vertical. So, tell us what's next for you.
Well, I'm currently in development of 3 projects, but the one that is the closest to being filmed is a vertical called The Recurring Death of Frank Lopez. And it's a story, many people don't know that Francisco Lopez was the first person that discovered gold in California. Before the American white people discovered gold and they took all the credit, actually this Mexican man discovered gold first. And another thing that people don't know is that the gold rush was a terrible thing for the Mexican people in California, because a lot of criminals came to California, and in their desire to enrich themselves, they robbed people of their lands, they tricked them into all kinds of different things, and there was a lot of atrocities that happened to our community during that time. People don't know that. So when I started doing a little bit of research on that, I started thinking, how can I tell this story? There's lots of different ways to tell the story. So it's a really powerful story. So one way to tell it was to have a character that is Frank Lopez, who dies, who has a recurring death, and each death teaches him something. So I came out with the idea of having Frank Lopez living in the present time, and he, maybe I'm giving too much, but I don't think so. He gets attacked by ice, These people, these criminals are, well, they're not really criminals. They're the government, the bad people in the government is the ones that are criminals. They're telling these people to do what they think is a job that is fair, but is incredibly damaged, destructive, and bad. And anyway, it's a complicated story. But these people, this terrible situation is happening to our community, and yeah, ICE, grabs Frank Lopez and beats him to death, almost to death. And as he dies, he revives, goes back to different times in history of people in California or people in our area, and each time gives some new knowledge that maybe it will save his life and his future in the present time.
Right.
So it's it's a story with a very powerful message, and it will be very, very enjoyable. One of the things the business of filmmaking is changing completely, and it's a great time for us, by the way. So a movie like this, where we're going to go back in time multiple times in multiple periods, would cost millions and millions of dollars to make with traditional filmmaking, strategies. But because we have artificial intelligence, we are going to use that to be able to create worlds, transport people to different times in history without having to spend millions and millions of dollars, making it. So this is going to be my first film, for my first vertical in my first film, where a lot of artificial intelligence is going to be used. So it's an exciting one, and the story is really, really good. Maybe I didn't tell it so good, but trust me, the story is really, really, really engaging.
I already want to see it. I want to see this film. And you touched a little bit on like the whole like ICE topic, which in the Dreamer Cinderella that I really like love that you brought into the awareness of the situation that's been going on with ICE in the Dreamer Cinderella, because I don't think a lot of films like bring up the awareness of what's going on, because it's a recent thing that's just been increasing lately, and seeing that the Dreamer Cinderella brings a bit of awareness of what's going on. What were your thoughts on bringing that to the film?
Well, I mean, first of all, when we shot the film, this crazy situation had not started.
Right.
So we kind of, ICE abductions had already been happening, and I call them abductions intentionally. This abusive thing had been already going on, not at the rate that is happening, or the level of monstrosity, abusiveness that we're living today. But I had already seen it, predicted it, and actually, I predicted it as soon as Trump started saying, when he first started becoming a presidential candidate, and he started saying, "Oh, Mexicans are criminals, and Mexicans are bringing all the terrible things to this country," and making this intentional, creating a scapegoat to every bad thing that is happening to the country. I already knew it then. I knew that something terrible was going to happen. And in fact, I wrote a novel those many years back. I wrote a novel called Irreversible Damage, which basically told the story of how those words spoken by powerful people trickle down into people's minds, how it changes people's minds, and how we, at the ground level, we pay the price. Our community and other communities pay the price for this hate mongering that he has created. And I wrote a novel that won lots of awards. And in fact, that's my next project. It is in development right now. That will be a regular feature. That will be a feature film. It will be a thriller, and that's also a pretty great story. And that's on the works.
Love to see it. So you said you wrote a book. Is there anywhere? Is there?
It can be bought on Amazon.
Amazon.
It's called Irreversible Damage: The Katie Suarez Social Justice Series, and we call it a series because you know we want Carrie. I want Katie to become a super. It's not a real superhero, but in a way like James Bond. You know, she has one adventure now, but she'll have other adventures fighting injustice, you know, throughout in the future. So yeah, I'm hoping to make Katie Suarez a hero that will have multiple films,
right,
multiple stories.
Oh, now I want to see all these films. Everything you're bringing up.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You've made some films and you're working on some stuff upcoming. What advice do you give to individuals that are, you know, thinking about getting in the industry, or have already started but they haven't had success, and you know, just like tell us what advice you would give them to pursue?
Well, my first suggestion for filmmakers that are trying to build a career, you know, is network. It's so important to network, you know, build a network of filmmakers that are talented, that wanna help, you know, and get involved as well in nonprofits and organizations that, you know, that help others, because that's a really good way to start building a very strong network, you know. You know, this industry is a team effort. We cannot do anything by ourselves, so we need to work together, you know. And so that's the number one thing: network, build strong relationships with people that you can work in the future, that you can help each other in the future. And the second thing is train, educate, learn, not only on filmmaking, but in business, in the business of show business, because this is a business. And if the only thing that we focus on is how to use the camera better or how to write a better story, and we forget the business side, we're going to struggle, because unless we're lucky enough, and not a lot of people are lucky enough to get a job at the studios, you know, at a creative level. You know, people can get jobs, you know, at the hard work level, but the creative level is very hard to get jobs there. I mean, they all give it to their friends and to their family. So so we need to learn the business, because you know, if we want to stay in this business and make money, we need to figure out ways to do it as a business. I mean, I have lots of you know, suggestions for people, but if that starts becoming more an independent case by case thing.
Right. Yeah, no, 100% agree with that. You know, like, it is a business, because it's, you know, it's like you said, like, it's not all about like learning the camera, but then it's like you gotta also learn the business side of all these things. It's very important, because there's just so much to learn as you progress, you know, in the filmmaking area. Is because a lot of it comes with finances, you know, financing your films, you know, and not just like, oh, how much I'm going to pay for catering. No, it's like, how much does this location is going to cost me? am I able to get this location for free? Because it also comes with negotiation too, like, because you're not always going to get a yes or no, but it's like when you're filming a location, sometimes you got to pay out of your pocket. It comes with finances, learning, and just the business sides of like, all right, let's say I choose this location. It's like, you don't have to pay, but how about you make me a video and we'll do that in exchange. Make me a commercial. All right, we'll do it. It's just, I also got to learn the business side as well. It's like I think I've seen it firsthand, and I'm like, oh, it's like a whole new thing to learn. And it's like, it's a little scary sometimes, when you first have to know learning business. But once you get to learn it, it's like, it's all gonna flow. It's gonna flow like a river.
Yeah, and building personal relationships and having a skill to do that too is crucial. It's crucial.
Right, like you're gonna definitely building relationships. That's what I love about networking events. Is like you go to these events and make friends. Because we're stronger together as a filmmaker community. Never know when you're gonna need a DP. It's like, hey, I met you that other day. It's like, did you know I'm a DP? I'm like, oh, I got a camera person. There you go. You made a friend there. Or hey, I got you a location. It's all about making friends, building these relationships is very important. Do you have anything you would like to say to the audience about Dreamer Cinderella or Dr. Ruiz Productions?
Well, I would like to make an invitation to all your audience and all our friends to view the Dreamer Cinderella on Amazon Prime now. It is a great story for the entire family that is going to make you laugh, and it's going to make you cry, and it's going to make you feel proud of our community and our culture. And it reminds us that any of us, if we have an opportunity, and we take it, we can do amazing things. And that's what I like about this story. You're gonna feel good. It's a feel-good movie. The Dreamer Cinderella on Amazon.
Right, and remember, folks, it's going to be in the link right in the description. Start watching it. I 100% recommend it. If you're Latino, you're definitely going to relate to a lot of things, especially me as a Latino. So let's plug in our socials. Don't forget to follow us on Phase 3 Films. And then Dr. Ruiz, would you like to plug in your social media?
Yeah, of course. Please visit Dr. Ruiz Productions on Instagram, and you can see more of our projects. drruizproductions.com. You can see a little bit of our other films that we're working on, that we have in development, and other projects that we're involved in. And one more thing that I want to plug is the Illustrious Collection. I would love for you to check it out. Is at illustriouscollection.com, and it's a curated site where you can see great films made by Latinos with stories that are authentic, and you're gonna love every single one of them. So go there, and thank you very much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
I'll check out everything you're talking about, and I'm gonna put the links as well for that, everybody. Thank you for watching, guys. This is the season premiere, season 2 of Off the Record with Phase 3, episode 1 with Dr. Ruiz as a special guest, and me and Vince. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for watching.